Hello, welcome back to another awesome Kajabi month Kajabi celebration video where I am showing you through the new Kajabi features that were recently announced as part of the Kajabi Evolved 2025 new feature update. And the new automations builder is what I'm looking at today. I am pretty excited to show you around this automations builder. It is going to allow you seeing how your automations are built. Up until now, you've built each individual automation in isolation. You are now able to see it on a canvas. So you can see how automations connect with each other. It is much easier to set up that branching logic where you're like, in this situation, do that, in that situation, do this, and sort of set different paths. So the new automation builder may also change a little bit of your workflow. So I'm going to go through everything, what's changed, what's updated, how you set up automations, and basically all you need to know. If you do have questions, please do leave them in the comments. I will be more than happy to answer them. And I will be doing videos diving deep into all of the Kajabi new features over the next month or so. Please consider subscribing or following me if you would like to keep up to date. And if this inspires you to be like, all right, Kajabi, you have now got to the level that I want to be able to bring my business to your platform, or if you're brand new and want to come to Kajabi, I would kindly request that you go and take a look at the unicornadvisory.com/Kajabi. I have a spectacular bonus suite. If you sign up to Kajabi through me, I do get a commission from Kajabi, and I shower you in bonuses and support back to say thank you very much. So yeah, if you're not on Kajabi, come and join us and use my affiliate link. I would be ever so grateful. All right, let's dive in and have a look at automations and all of these cool new features that are available. So if you have not heard Kajabi change. They have updated their automation builder, and in doing that, they are unlocking a whole lot of new stuff that is going to be coming out as well. So it's a little bit of an exciting time because automations pretty much haven't been touched since I first started using Kajabi. Previously, instead of coming to this automations kind of tab under marketing, I would usually set my automation up in the thing that I wanted the automation to go on. For example, if I was doing an automation on a form, I would add each individual automation to the form. What this automation builder does is allow you to sort of build those things together and see it in a visual canvas type of look. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So you can choose one of these blueprints that Kajabi have set up where they're kind of going to create some of those things together and set it up so you just connect each part of it. So instead of thinking, oh, what would happen in this situation, you can go and set up those blueprints and have a play around. So certainly feel free to go through and, play with those blueprints that are there, see if they would work for you, if those situations are helpful. I'm not going to cover it today, but some of the coolest and most helpful things that are connected to automations is this Instagram comment to conversation and the Facebook comment to conversation, which is going to allow you to have the functionality where if someone comments a specific word, then that will trigger an automation in Kajabi. So I'll be covering that in a separate training where I look all at that universal inbox and this comment to DM feature, which is a brand new feature to Kajabi. I'm pretty excited about being able to manage my Facebook and Instagram inbox in Kajabi because I hate social media. I always miss messages because I don't have the apps on my phone. I don't like going to social media because it's too easy to get distracted. So yeah, when I found out that I can manage it from Kajabi, I was like, yes, thank you. So I'll cover those in a separate video. So I'm not going to start one of these from scratch. I would encourage you to sort of have a play around. Actually, do you know what? Let's do it. Let's actually do a freebie funnel here. And so what we're going to do, if you set up one of these blueprints, it's going to then create like the fields for that then you can connect. So when form is submitted, you then go to choose the form. Let's just say it is this newsletter form in my test account. You can add filters to that later. That is the same as the conditional setup that Kajabi had before. I'll come back and explain that after we do the basic one. We can then go through and then when form is submitted, actually I have to save, apologies. So I'm going to save this trigger. So when form is submitted, then add a tag. And so we will add a tag. This is being added to the content, to the contact. So this, excuse me, is a little bit of a mess in here. So I'm going to just say newsletter is the tag that I'm going to add. Save the action here. And then I'm also going to, once the tag is added, have a communication that's going to go out. So in this case, it is going to be an email. So these types of automations and triggers were previously available. It's the same triggers that were there before. It just looks different because previously you would have had to have created 2 separate automations. For one, when form is submitted, add a tag, and a separate automation for when form is submitted, send an email. And now with the automations builder, what you can do is put all of the automations inside one canvas. Much better and easier to be able to see it in a flow. So you can know that all these different triggers are going to happen. But something you can do that is very cool is we're actually going to add a branch in here. So the branches are available if you have the growth and the pro plan. The branching and the filtering, which is what I'm going to show you, is something that's considered an advanced automation. So if you're on the basic or Kickstarter plan, you'll still be able to access this automations builder. You just won't be able to add the branching logic or the filters and conditions. So we're going to add a branch in here. And so this action name here is going to, we're just going to leave this saying branch. We're going to say if existing subscriber. And so we're going to come here into this filter category. So these are the same filters that you have in your contacts, but now we can bring all those filters and multiple filters into your automations a lot easier than you could in the past. It's easier to see because it's done the same way as the filters are in the contacts. You were essentially kind of doing that before with the conditions when you had conditional automations. It's just a lot clearer here that that's what you're doing. So we are going to go to we're going to go to customers, and we are going to say, actually not customers, we're going to come into, we might come into, did they have actually, were they on an existing sequence? So we're going to say subscribe to, hopefully I've got this in here. I should have prepared this in advance. General welcome sequence. So if they're an existing subscriber, it means that they would already be on this general welcome sequence. Then we are going to send this email. So we're going to save this. Actually, hang on. We're going to do the retaining. Oops, we'll save this action here. So if they're an existing subscriber, so it means, there's a few different conditions that you can set for that, but let's just say existing means that they've gone, they're in this general welcome sequence. We're going to send them a different email to be like, oh, awesome, great, you're on the newsletter. However, if they are not an existing subscriber, we are also going to send an email. We're going to send a different email. We might even subscribe them to an email welcome sequence. So it may be that we can send an email here. So this we'll just put, yeah, you're on the newsletter. And we could do a custom sequence. I'm just going to show you just doing this. So it could be that the first email that goes out is just, yes, you're on the newsletter. And then the second thing that happens is then they're going to be subscribed to the welcome sequence. So if they are not already on the welcome sequence, we can then now add them to the welcome sequence. So that way we can see that, in certain situations, that they have different things happening. So everyone is going to have the tag added. If they're already a subscriber, they will have one situation happen. And if they are not, then a different thing will happen. You can add unlimited branches. So you can have multiple sort of filters in this situation if they own this product or don't own that product, if they've registered to a webinar, not registered to a webinar. There's lots of different situations you could do. And essentially you could have achieved that in the past. But as someone, who likes to see everything visually so you can sort of see the flow, this is really making it a lot more helpful. And especially because this is technically all one automation, whereas each one of these automations in the past, that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4 separate automations. But now it is all set here as this single automation. You can rename the automations. So you could be like new newsletter. subscriber. And you can save that. And the other thing as well is if you had a situation where you didn't want your automation to fire for some reason, is you can set that to draft. You will want it to be published for it to work, but it means that you have that ability now to play with things, set them up, but not actually turn it live. Or if you want to stop it for some reason, you can turn it back to draft and that will just stop it triggering. Something that the Kajabi team did mention is coming soon, which I'm pretty excited about, is the ability to soon add in pause periods. Up until now, we have not been able to do that. And there has been a lot of requests, like maybe it might be that you want an email to go out, then you want to wait a day and then subscribe them to a sequence. And you may have one sequence, then you might want to wait, say, a week and subscribe them to a second sequence. So that is something that's going to be able to come to this visual, to the automations and this visual builder, that you'll be able to add in that additional condition. Very excited about that. I just wanted to add, I didn't talk about this when I first started, but in your automations here, if you have existing automations in your Kajabi account, it's not showing up for me because I've already updated on the 10th of September to the new automation builder. You will have like a banner or something showing, telling you, it might say something along the lines of, learn about the new builder and upgrade or something along those lines. When you click on that, you will be able to check upgrade, and it will move all of your existing automations into this new builder format. You don't have to. If you don't want to, you can just leave it and not upgrade. When you do that, it will upgrade all of your sites. So if you have multiple sites, all of the sites are going to go through that. Kajabi have said that they have tested it on multiple accounts and there have been no issues of any automations breaking or anything like that. I personally have found all my automations in here, but the automations are all individual at this stage. My main account, not my test account, has probably more, almost 1,000 automations. So there's quite a lot, which is going to be a lot of work to rebuild them if I choose to. But yeah, it is something where it's just going to be in. So all of the ones that are in there at the moment are just the same as those old individual automations. It hasn't sort of built them into that builder. So you may choose to go and set some of those to draft and rebuild them if you want to. It may be something that you leave the existing ones as they are and you just build new ones using this new sort of canvas builder. Something that's helpful is you're able to search for automations. So do be careful when you are naming them to give them helpful searchable names. In the past, it was really obvious what an automation was named. When form is submitted, grant an offer and the name of the offer, it was kind of pulling that name from the automation that you were doing. But now, because there's a situation where you'll have essentially multiple steps of the automation within one, just consider with your naming something that's going to make sense for the entire flow. So rather than each email just being its own sort of individual island and existing in its own world, now everything sort of connected is going to link together. So yeah, once you have done that, I don't know if there's a way to revert it back. So if you're unsure, maybe don't just do it just yet. I have seen no issue and I haven't seen any issues reported, apart from the fact that it all looks completely different. Something as well just to bear in mind is that you still can do your automations the same way that you have done it before. So I showed you how to set up the automation from within the automation builder. But if you do want to set up an automation within an actual course itself, so this brand new newsletter form, this is the form that I just set up that automation on. It has now added that one in here. It will show you what is published and what is draft, but these are the old automations that I have. So I may want to go into those where I can see them here and just go and edit it and turn them to draft where I have replaced it with a new one. So in the past, it's just had that single. When this happens, do that. You can edit these if you want to, but do just bear in mind that all of your old ones are going to exist there as kind of individual things. One of the things that's very frustrating, as you may have noticed, and I'm really hoping Kajabi will change, is that, again, in the past, because the behavior has been to create the automation from within the thing that I was in, I now have to go, if I want to add a second automation or adjust or change anything in that automation, When I go into edit, it's going to then not take me back to where I was working, but take me back to that automations builder. So then I've got to go back through the steps to get back to wherever I was working. So fingers crossed Kajabi will do something about that, because it can be a bit of a challenge. If you are in somewhere where there are no current automations, you can just click onto add automation. If you are doing it from the place where you are, by default, it's going to go straight to starting with that thing. So we're in a form, so it's going to default to when form is submitted, and that's the trigger. So we're going to save that trigger here, and then we add the next step. So it's going to already do that for you. If you're starting from the actual automations menu, I'll show you in a second, it's going to just be blank. You can set any automation up. Now, that's the same as it was before. It just may be less clear. Also, it is going to default with a name that probably doesn't make a heap of sense when you just start it. It's going to call this new automation with the date and the time, so that you don't end up with a heap that just have date and time and you're never going to be able to find anything. I would suggest to get into the habit of renaming those as soon as you make them. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a bit of a workflow change of thinking about creating all the steps of the automation in one rather than creating those individual automations. So once we've got that one here, then, similar to before, we've got the same options as when this happens then. And so we can add, remove a tag, send an email, subscribe to a sequence or unsubscribe, register or deregister from an event. We can send an offer, which is sending an email. There are some new automations added, which is really exciting. Send a communities DM. So it may be that on your offer, when you have when offer is purchased, then send a communities DM, which can welcome someone into the community, which I'm really excited. That was just announced today. You can also now, I'm so happy about this, add or remove a member from a private channel. So what a private channel is in communities, and I will dive deeper, it's kind of a bit of a crossover. In your community, you can have an extra channel or circle within your community called a private channel. And previously, the only way to add or remove someone from that was to do it manually within the community. There may be situations like, maybe you have an access group that is for private clients and you have a general chat area, but you want to have a private channel for each individual client so that you can communicate directly. In this case now, you will be able to add them to a private channel or remove them from a private channel. So a situation where you might want to remove someone from a private channel is if they're in a particular channel and their subscription ends, or they stop paying, they cancel their subscription. So those automations will now be part of it. You can also post in the channel. I haven't tested this one out yet, so I will test it when I do the communities training. But what I'm hoping, in fact, let's just do it here. We will be able to select we'll select our VIPs. I'm pretty sure that this one is here. And then we will be able to personalize. So we'll be able to say, hey, first name, welcome to the community. And then you may have, for example, like a welcome message where you encourage someone to introduce themselves and let them know some questions. So the fact that that can be automated is also really fantastic. So I probably wouldn't send them a DM and do that post in the community. I mean, you could if you were giving them different information, but the DM is really great because you can give them some onboarding help. And then perhaps if you were going to use both, the post one where you are using their first name, I haven't checked if it will tag them. I hope it will. But that will then, enable them or encourage them to do an introduction post. So, if you have a specific channel, so I would probably do this. I will test it properly when we do the communities. If you had an introductions channel, then it would make a lot of sense that you could then put that into the introductions channel every time that someone's subscribed. So that's a nice automated process. So I will cover that more when we do communities, but yeah, that was just announced today, but that's a nice additional change that has been made. And then the other ones were pretty much mostly there before with sending a coupon, granting or revoking an offer, deactivating from an offer. If you are using coaching, we now have a couple of other sessions like cancel sessions. There's very sort of few situations that you'd want to do it. Perhaps if you were, if someone cancelled a subscription, but you can send emails as well, session survey and program survey emails. So those are the actions that you can do when a new automation is set up. So lots of options. We'll just do a simple one here, add a tag. We'll just add an all email tag. But yeah, so if you wanted to have that, you will only add the tag in a certain situation, then we'll come back into here. Sorry, we'll do when form is submitted and we want to add a filter. So you're only going to add the tag in a specific situation, which may be that case of in some situations you add one tag, in some situations you add another, or one you may add one tag and remove another tag. That's when you can set these filters up. So the filters, like I said, are essentially that conditional automations. It used to be called conditions. You would set up the automation and then add a condition to it. So now it is just being done via this filters. So we would select a filter. So contact is subscribed, yes. And then we want to add another filter. So it may be that, what could we do? I'm just trying to think of one that makes sense. So let's just say we might do does not have offers. So we want to say does not have the Pastel Secrets community, for example. So if they don't have that, we might give them Pastel Secrets lead as the tag. So we might make it a different tag. So we'll apply that. We'll save the trigger. And then, that's where we can then create that branching. So in this case with no branching, they will only have the tag applied if they meet the filter. But if we add a branch in, it means that you can do something different if they don't meet the condition, or you can add multiple conditions. So that branching and filtering is only available for growth and pro plans, and that's what's considered the advanced automations. So I'm pretty excited to see what is going to happen. One of the other changes as well that has been introduced, I'm just going to leave this just so we can go back here, is you can now see the total number of times that automation has run. I think this will be really helpful. In the past, like I said, I have hundreds of automations. It could even be like in the thousands. But it was like, has it triggered? I don't know. We aren't able to dive into sort of looking at the what happens, like looking at a report or anything, but we can at least see how many times it's run. And one of the new things that Kajabi are doing in terms of with that automation builder is looking at how many times different parts of the trigger, the automations have run. So because it's sort of going down sequentially, if there's people dropping off at certain points, you'll see a reduction sort of in the number of events happening as things roll down. So that is going to be coming. But the total runs at the moment is the total times someone enters into the automation. So that is helpful as well. So yeah, automations. It's some nice updates and hopefully a lot more to come. Excited to see those new community automations as well. That's going to allow us to do a lot more. Just remember, like I said, you can still do your automations from within your courses. If we do a new automation, that's going to unlock. We're just going to start from scratch so I can show you some of the things. So this is when your trigger can be, is it going to be a certain level of activity? Is it going to be a quiz? Is it going to be an event? Is it going to be something that happens in a lesson? So, you can play around and sort of be like, ooh, what are these options available? So we'll select a lesson here. We'll just pick this one. And we will save a trigger. Then, so when a lesson is completed, then again, that gives us options to do a whole lot of things. Granting an offer is something that I have a lot of granting offer automations set up when lessons are completed for the gamification. So for the Gamify templates, because when automations trigger, then it can grant that offer, which then gives the badge inside the Gamify. So that is nice as well. But it could be that when specific lessons are done, again, because we have these communities area now and posting in the channel, it may be that, when someone completes a lesson, You could, put a post up there when they complete a quiz. You could have something trigger in the community. It could be, that a DM goes out instead of an email, which is like, awesome. I can see that you've reached the end of the first module. Let me know if you have any questions. So there's lots of opportunities, and, having lots of options on those tags and lots of things that you can do. Most of these, if we just go off this trigger, I'm just going to go back to here. So if we go into, I'm going to remove this, I'm going to start again. Delete. So when this new trigger is added, what I would suggest that you do is go through and sort of have a look at all of these. The main times that previously I've used automations have been under form, event, quiz and or assessment, and offers. But now we have automations available under app offers. So if there is a specific app purchase, that's going to enable that to now trigger automations. Email broadcast is something that I've used. One of the really common automations that I use is when a link is clicked, and then so I'm going to, hopefully I'm going to have one that has an actual link in it. Okay, this one's got a link. So we can have an automation happen that when a link is clicked. So let's just say you are saying, hey, I'm running a webinar. If you want to register for that and you've got that set up as an event, one click here and you'll be instantly registered. You can then register someone to an event and select the event and register them for that event. And the link that you would put in your email is actually the thank you page, which would say, awesome, you're now registered for the webinar. And then in the background, they're automatically being added to the webinar. You could do it as a tag, and the tag could be an opt-out of promotions. It could be that you have a wait list, and the automation is tagging for a wait list. So if you want me to do some training, like looking at some of the options that you can do with automations and some of the ways that you can bring some of this power into your Kajabi site, into your lessons, into your forms, your offers, and look at ways to help enhance engagement within your courses and or sell more, please do let me know, because all of this functionality has been there. It's just, I feel like it's a little bit more accessible and understandable now. So I'm excited to see where Kajabi go with it, and very, very happy to see the automations getting a little bit of love. If you have got any questions, please do comment. Let me know, even if you are watching this on the replay. This is Kajabi Excitement Month. I am probably going to be going a little OTT with my Kajabi videos and posting a whole lot, because I'm excited and I want to share these new features and let you know if it's something that is going to help you in your Kajabi account. There may be features where you're like, that's nice, but I'll never use that. And, hopefully this will help you know. Or there's a feature there where you're like, I never knew that was possible. And, I can help show you how you can make the most of Kajabi. Because, I want to help you use this awesome software to have the best opportunities for your business and help you make more money with Kajabi. I'm Sue from the Unicorn Advisory. I will see you again very soon with another awesome Kajabi video. Bye for now.